If you're stranded on a glacier with one or two people, who would you take? A scientist who's devoted years of his life studying the glacier, its geography, climate, and many other nuances? Or would you take a survivalist who was stranded on that same glacier but found a way to survive and eventually make it home? My name is Dr. Ryan Gunyon, and I am a functional medicine practitioner. In 2014, my wife, Victoria, became very ill. The one morning, Victoria woke up and she had a rash starting here on her right hand. And at first you don't think nothing of it. You're just like, oh, okay, it's just a little bit of a rash. But as days went by, that rash just kept getting bigger and bigger and climbing up her arm. And then over a period of time, it covered her whole body.
It just like nothing I did would make it go away. It just began to spread more and more.
And so it gets to a point where it's so bad, we're like, okay, there's got to be something much bigger going on. And so we decided to make some appointments for some medical doctors, and they just basically diagnosed her with dermatitis, which is inflammation of the skin. And we're like, hey, we got that.
Well, it could be ringworm, it could be poison oak. Next thing you know, they're like, well, we don't know. It could be cancer, so we need to test for these kind of things possibly. It was just one frustrating answer after another because they weren't answers, they were just guesses. And there was no way that I could start doing what I needed to do to heal until I knew what was going on.
Every day that goes by, Victoria's getting worse, she's miserable. So I went in and started looking at functional medicine, and what functional medicine said was the body heals itself. And if the body's expressing symptoms, you gotta find out why, what's the root cause of that.
He came in and said, you know what, nobody else can help you, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna figure it out. And so he decided to go and start doing his work in functional medicine. He started being able to determine which testing that I should be doing specifically. Ultimately, we tested me for mold toxicity and found out that I had very severe life-threatening levels of toxic mold exposure.
I often tell people that, like the symptoms that she was having on her skin was not the body doing the wrong thing, it was actually pushing mold out. And so when you think back and you look at those other medical professionals that just want to put cream on it or put a drug in there to reduce the skin rash, you would actually be pushing mold back into the body. So we went through a process of removing mold, watching her nutrition, supplementation, eating right, exercise, trying to sleep well, the whole big picture.
And over a period of a few years and chipping away at it, I was able to get the mold out of my body. And that was huge because the mold was affecting my thyroid and my reproductive system. It was the reason that I had infertility, the reason I'd had a miscarriage. It was just so much emotional trauma in the past, all related to these exposures, and I'd never known. And if he had never stepped up and said, I want to do something about this, I'm sick of waiting for somebody else to figure it out, who knows? I don't even know if I would still be here, but I know I would not be the strong mom or community leader that I am now.
If you go through that process, you have to go through the grind of it all. You have to figure it out. And we had to figure it out because nobody else seemed to have any answers. And so through that process, that's what I felt has made the difference for me as a functional medicine doctor, is that I didn't just look at it in the books. You had to grind through the process and feel it. Feel the emotions, the fear, the anger, the anxiety. You don't learn that at school. You don't learn that in a textbook. You only get that through experience.
I'm grateful, because if it hadn't happened, we would not help all the people that we do right now.
When people come to see me, we sit down and evaluate your whole health history from birth to now to look at what are all of the things that could have accumulated on your health to cause what's happening right now. Based off of that health history, we do specific testing and consultations to work through what we find on the testing so we can find your root cause and get your health back where you need it to be. When you're stranded on a glacier, you hope that you don't have to choose between the scientist and the survivalist. I've devoted my life to studying the human body, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, And my family and I have experienced hardships that functional medicine has helped us overcome. My hope is to change your life through functional medicine and help you overcome as well.